Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and we're getting you over the next 1 hour all the updates that have come in the Anjali death case. It's been one sensational twist after another. It's led to more questions than answers right now. And with every passing day, more revelations that are coming in that changes the sequence of events. And that's why here on India Today, we're piecing together all the CCTV footage that we have to get you details of exactly what happened on that New Year night in the national capital, what eventually led to the death of Anjali in that horrifying manner where she was hit by a car and dragged for 12 kilometers. Details of that coming up in just a bit. The headlines first, as always. New CCTV video shows PCR van on the same route as the Baleno moments after the car passed through the route with the victim under it. No checks conducted for drunk driving in that route on New Year. Anjali's family counters allegations made by a friend who said she was drunk. Autopsy reveals the 20-year-old died due to dragging. Cops recreate the crime. Another shocker from Delhi. Man drags 19-year-old woman forcefully inside car in Pandav Nagar, threatens an acid attack as teen resists. Sonia Gandhi admitted to Delhi's Sir Gangaram Hospital for a viral respiratory infection. The UPA chairperson was last seen at the Congress Foundation Day event. Rishabh Pant airlifted to Mumbai for treatment of his ligament injury. Doctors to monitor his treatment. And drunk flyer in a New York-Delhi Air India flight urinates on a female passenger in business class. Female passenger complains of insensitivity of the cabin crew. All right, lots of updates that have come in the Delhi hit and drag case so far. As we get you all the CCTV images, the latest twists and turns, let's begin by rounding up the top developments. New CCTV video emerges in the Anjali death case. A PCR van was seen passing the exact same stretch where Anjali's body was dragged. This is moments after Anjali had been hit by the Baleno. What we know is that she was hit at around 1:52 a.m. and this video of the PCR van passing by very slowly is of 2:02 a.m., 10 minutes later. As grim details keep emerging, the autopsy report revealed that Anjali was stuck onto the front wheel of the vehicle on the left side of the car, as you can see in the footage there. Maximum blood stains were found on the front and rear left wheel. Horrifying details that have emerged. Her lungs had popped out from her body. Delhi police were seen recreating the crime earlier today. A Delhi top cop even slid under the Baleno car to see what really transpired that fateful night. This kind of a recreation essentially helps forensic experts to map out the sequence. Claims, counterclaims escalate day after Anjali's friend Nidhi, who was there when the accident took place, claimed Anjali was drunk and riding the scooty. Anjali's family rubbished the charges, claiming it wasn't an accident but planned murder. Anjali's family said that Nidhi is clearly issuing false statements. Nidhi, speaking to us here on India Today, claimed that she ran home right after the accident as she got scared over what happened. CCTV footage accessed by India Today shows Nidhi reaching her home at around 1:30 a.m. and that's well before the mishap took place. So there are a lot of questions that are being asked about this as well. So many contradictions that have come to light. With every update that's coming, there are only more questions than answers that we have right now in this case. And here's why. There have been a number of CCTV images that have come in. What we're doing right now here on India Today is that we're in fact piecing it together. Using the CCTV footage, we're going to try to explain to you exactly what happened on 1st January. Now, there are a few contradictions that have come to the fore, which we'll highlight in just a bit. But I want to play out all of the CCTV images. There are about 5 CCTV images that we've accessed from that night that give you a sense of what happened. Let's begin with before the accident, when Anjali was seen with Nidhi. Now, it's clear from this footage that they were having some sort of a fight, some sort of an argument. According to Nidhi, that was because she was insisting on riding the scooty because Anjali was very drunk. That's what Nidhi had told us. The next footage is of Anjali and Nidhi leaving the hotel. This is an Oyo hotel, which we have reported from as well. That's where Anjali and Nidhi had spent the last few hours before they pulled out the bike. As you can see there, you can see Anjali as well as Nidhi together before that bike. Now, after that, the next footage that we have is, in fact, a few moments later, you can see Anjali on that bike taking a turn in that particular stretch. Now, it's after this, actually, that the accident took place. In this footage, Anjali is clearly riding the bike and she's seen taking that U-turn. Now, after this is when the accident, the hit and drag, took place. Now, it was a head-on collision that happened. You can see the Baleno here flashing his lights as well. Now, this sequence, it's expected that in the few seconds that we have that cut in the footage of Anjali's scooty taking that turn and the Baleno flashing his lights, that's when the accident took place. Now, after this, let's show you the latest image that we've accessed here on India Today that squeezes into the sequence of events now. The police van seen on the same road where the accident took place. Now, the timing of, in fact, this police van and the fact that it was on the exact same stretch where the accident took place has raised questions about how the cops didn't notice something was amiss. Were they being alert at all during their rounds? And the last footage, the heartbreaking images that we had when we first broke the story on India Today, is in fact of the Baleno taking a turn. Underneath, you can see Anjali's body being dragged. The report, in fact, has confirmed, based on the forensic report that we've received, that's confirmed that Anjali's body was stuck on the front left and rear wheel left side of the car. Now, the footage also that's raised a lot of questions about Nidhi's role. Anjali's friend, Nidhi, where was she? What you see here is Nidhi walking back home. This footage that we've accessed from her locality shows Nidhi there, dressed in red, walking inside, not in any hurry, casually walking into her home. There are questions about when exactly this happened. Did Nidhi get home right after the accident as she claimed, or is there some foul play on that? We're still awaiting word from the Delhi police. They themselves are investigating this. And remember that Nidhi is a witness in this case, but she did not help Anjali at all. Now, let's highlight some of the big questions that have emerged in this case, because with every CCTV footage that's come to light, and particularly with the statement that Nidhi has given us here on India Today, there are some contradictions and also claims and counterclaims that are coming to the fore. For example, Nidhi saying Anjali was drunk. Anjali's family member saying that wasn't the case. They're highlighting the autopsy report, saying there's no mention of Anjali being drunk and that there was no alcohol found in her abdomen. So they're citing the post-mortem report. Let's detail out for you all the latest updates, reactions that have come in that's only made this case murkier.
Gruesome murder, claims and counterclaims, and several contradictions in versions. Anjali's death is getting murkier day by day. The victim's family and her friend Nidhi, who fled the accident scene, have made several claims. Nidhi, in an interview to India Today, said her friend was in an inebriated state when they were hit by the car early Sunday. Anjali's family has countered this claim. They say no alcohol was found in her abdomen, according to the post-mortem report.
उसने बहुत ज्यादा ड्रिंक कर रखी थी, बहुत ज्यादा ड्रिंक कर रखी थी कि वो ना मतलब होश में नहीं थी अपने।
पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में एब्डोमेन में किसी भी तरीके का अल्कोहल पदार्थ नहीं पाया गया है।
Nidhi further claimed that Anjali almost smashed into a truck before the deadly accident, while Anjali's family is calling the death a planned murder.
अंजलि के साथ जो हुआ है, that is not a simple murder. It is a sadism murder in which उसको धीरे-धीरे पेन देके मारा गया है, पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से।
Facing questions on her own conduct after the incident, Nidhi said she fled the accident spot because she was scared. Anjali's family, on the other hand, alleged Nidhi wasn't with the victim during the incident. They say Nidhi's version of events don't match the CCTV recordings of what happened that night.
मैं बिल्कुल अपनी सुद्धि में नहीं थी, मैं अपने होश में ही नहीं थी कि मैं जाकर पुलिस को बताऊं। मैं सोची कहीं वो बात मेरे पे ना आ जाए। एक होता है ना कि मेरे को लगा कि क्या करूं मैं, मेरे को जो ये ठीक लगा कि मैं अपने घर पे जाऊं, अपने घर पे बैठ के शांति से सोचूं क्या करना है क्या नहीं। कुछ नहीं समझ में आया तो 2 दिन बाद पुलिस ने पूछा तो मैंने पूछताछ में सब बता दिया।
1:35 पे निधि अपने घर पे पहुंच चुकी है। 2 बजे जो सीसीटीवी फुटेज आता है उसमें अंजलि अकेले गाड़ी ड्राइव कर रही है। तो मैं आपको फिर बताना चाहता हूं, अगर रात को 1:30 बजे मैंने अपने दोस्त को उसके घर छोड़ दिया तो ये क्या मामला है कि 3 घंटे 1.5 घंटे के बाद या 1 घंटे के बाद वो मौके वारदात पे ये कहता है कि मैं भी उस स्कूटी में बैठी थी और जब ये सब वाकया हुआ तो मैं वहां से भाग गई।
India Today has accessed the CCTV footage of Nidhi rushing to her home from the crime spot after the accident. The claims have raised many questions. Is Anjali's friend Nidhi speaking the truth? Nidhi claims she reached her home after the accident. The time stamp on CCTV shows her walking home an hour earlier. What happened in the Oyo hotel room where Anjali and Nidhi were seen on New Year's Eve? Which event management company did Anjali work for? Where are the boys who were with Anjali and friend in the hotel? The police are yet to crack the exact sequence of events. Days after the horrific incident, the question remains, will Anjali get justice? With Shreya Chatterjee, Himanshu Mishra and Arvind Oja in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So here are the claims and the counter-claims that have come to the fore in this particular case that raises so many questions about exactly what's the truth, what happened to Anjali and what played out moments before her death. Now, according to Anjali's friend Nidhi, who was there with her, she says Anjali was very, very drunk, was struggling to even ride the scooty. This is what she's told us on record. Now, the family today has spoken out, countering what Nidhi has said. They're saying that no alcohol has been found in the abdomen. They're citing the post-mortem report. Now, beyond that, Anjali's friend Nidhi also told us that she was so out of control, so out of her senses, that she almost smashed the bike into a truck. And then they argued over who should ride the scooty. Family saying that's most definitely not the case. They've alleged that all of this is a planned murder. They're in fact questioning what Nidhi has said so far. Remember that Nidhi said that she didn't help Anjali, that she got very scared over what happened and rushed home without helping Anjali. Now the family is saying, was Nidhi actually there? That her claims don't match the CCTV. There's a big question mark over the timing mentioned in the CCTV, and there's a reason for that. It's because of the fact that the time mentioned there is very different compared to what the Delhi police said of the time of the accident. But that is something the cops need to clarify on whether the CCTV's timer wasn't really working. Now, even as, in fact, we report on all the details of this case, I'd also like to tell you that right now, as we speak, there's a march that's underway in the national capital, a protest demanding justice for young Anjali. Aishwarya Paliwal is joining us live from Jantar Mantar in Delhi. We have Ashutosh Mishra also joining us from Jantar Mantar. That's where this current protest is happening. Shreya Chatterjee is getting us the latest updates from the Sultanpuri police station in the national capital. Ashutosh, good evening. I'd like to begin with you. Show me around what's happening. I understand a number of people have gathered there holding up placards demanding justice for Anjali.
Well, we are seeing such protests on the street for last few days, particularly from the opposition camp when it comes to the law and order machinery. It's the Aam Aadmi Party, and the similar protest by the Aam Aadmi Party is being carried out here. It's a candlelight silent march protest by the AAP leaders, where these are all the AAP, newly elected councillors, the AAP MLAs are joining, holding candle march and demanding action against the erring officials. And moreover, this anger is against the BJP, as the Aam Aadmi Party claims it is the BJP-led Delhi police which is trying to save the culprits.
Looks like we've lost that connection with Ashutosh.
Jantar Mantar carrying candle march protest.
Continue going across to Ashutosh. We'll reconnect with him also in just a bit. In the meanwhile, I'd like to take this across to Shreya Chatterjee, who's reporting live from the Sultanpuri police station. Lots that's happened, Shreya, as far as the investigation is concerned. You had a recreation of the crime by the forensic team, and the Delhi police's top cops were also present for that. But let's focus for a moment on all of the confusion that's emerged over Nidhi's role, over her claims, what the autopsy report has also mentioned.
Well, I will break it down for our viewers that why there are confusions rising in the entire case. Now, first and foremost, Nidhi, who is a friend of Anjali, she came forward and made a claim that she was there at the time of the accident that took place. That's also corroborated by the CCTV, because both of them can be seen stepping out from the Oyo room where they celebrated the 31st night. Now, subsequently, after the collision happened, Nidhi says that she ran away from the spot and Anjali got dragged along. Nidhi also went ahead to say that Anjali was not in a perfect shape. She was in an inebriated condition. Now, if we look at the family members of the victim going by the kind of the accident actually took place, it's difficult for them to wrap around the claims that's being made by Nidhi. That's one of the primary reasons, even after sexual assault has been ruled out, now the family members claim that there's a possibility that this was a murder, and that's the reason that Nidhi actually went away from the spot, and they want Nidhi to be questioned. The family member also came forward and questioned the post-mortem. Now, they put forward the post-mortem as an alibi, where it was mentioned that in the abdomen there was only semi-digested food that was recovered, but there was no mention of alcohol. This they used as an alibi, saying that this proves that she was not in an alcoholic condition. But we spoke with our FSL sources, who very categorically mentioned that the fact that in that very PM report there was absolutely no mention of alcohol, it cannot substantiate right now, and it's not enough to say that she was not under an inebriated condition. It's only after the visceral sample report will come in from the FSL in the 2 to 3 days time that we can finally say that. That's one of the primary reasons why we are seeing these claims and counterclaims, because no matter what, the entire incident, how it transpired, it's difficult for any person, any family who's going through this ordeal to accept that it was just a fatal accident.
I think beyond all of the back and forth, the claims and counterclaims, let's focus on how Delhiites also want to show their support and solidarity with the family. Aishwarya Paliwal is joining me live from Jantar Mantar, where, as I told you earlier, there's a candlelight vigil right now. Posters, placards being held up demanding justice for this young 20-year-old woman. It's putting the focus also, Aishwarya, on law and order, on women's safety in the national capital.
That exactly is what even we have been talking about for the past 48 hours, Akshita. You know, I'll start by showing you the visuals of Jantar Mantar. Now, this is a candlelight vigil which is taking place. Questions are being asked. A lot of women here, women from all walks of life, women of all age have now come. They are now sitting here. Candles in their hands, posters in their hands, The question that they're asking is for the government, the Bharatiya Janata Party government, to in fact do something about the law and order situation. We'll focus on, the faces of the women who have come here. We'll also speak with, leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. We will start by coming to you. Reena ji, आप लोग सब यहाँ आए हैं, आप लोगों की डिमांड क्या है?
देखिए, 10 years ago, we were at the same place.
Yes, it was Nirbhaya 10 years ago.
10 years. 10 winters ago, we were here. Nothing has changed for the women of Delhi. The law and order situation in Delhi has remained the same. Why is it, on one hand, we are saying that we are going to hold the presidency of G20 this year. We are feeling very proud of it. If women in Delhi cannot go out and work, then what has really changed for the women of Delhi? Nothing has changed. The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, who's responsible for law and order situation, is not interested in law and order at all. He's only interested in stopping all the works of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Also, what has happened in this case, the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders are involved. Whether it's Delhi, whether it's Haryana or UP, we are seeing everywhere Bharatiya Janata Party is standing with rapists. Whether it's the Senegar case, whether it's their minister in Haryana, they're always siding with rapists. So unless we have people in this position of power actually allow a proper inquiry to happen. We don't think that we'll get justice in this case. We want a Supreme Court monitored inquiry. Even the family of the victim has asked for a CBI inquiry, and that is what we are demanding today.
So your demand is a CBI inquiry, and you want that the government should do something about it.
Exactly, because we see there's a lot of pressure because the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders are involved. So we don't trust that the police will be able to, do a fair inquiry in this case.
Not expecting for a fair inquiry to take place, and more than that, the large number of women, Akshita, just showing you the visuals here, the large number of women who have turned up, women with posters, with candles in their hands, asking for a thorough probe to take place and for justice to take place, and also making a very important point. It was almost 10 years ago that people had held a candlelight vigil for Nirbhaya, and now, almost a decade later, people of the national capital again on the streets demanding justice for what has happened with Anjali. Akshita.
True, Aishwarya. There are AAP leaders who've gathered there. There are citizens who've gathered there. This is becoming fast, a movement like what we saw after the Nirbhaya rape case, when everyone rallied together, calling out authorities, saying enough is enough. We will no longer, compromise on the safety of women, on the safety of our daughters in the national capital. In this kind of a circumstance right now, there are several questions being asked of the Delhi police. You were out, I was out a couple of nights back on the streets in the national capital. It's very clear that right now a lot more needs to be done as far as women's safety is concerned. Get us more voices from the ground, people who also, I'm sure, have felt the need for change.
Well, Akshay, let me just tell you exactly what's happened now. People have now started putting the candles on the floor. They are leaving the candles on the floor. This is happening at Jantar Mantar as we speak. We will now move and speak with a lot more women, because it's very important to understand what the women of the national at the feeling. आप लोग यहाँ पे आए हैं, आप लोगों ने मोमबत्ती जलाई है, क्या आपको लगता है कि दिल्ली में लड़कियाँ सुरक्षित?
बिल्कुल नहीं, लड़कियों के लिए तो आजकल के सेफ ही नहीं रह गया, कहीं से कहीं तक भी रखिए। अब ये देखिए, जॉब आजकल हर एक लड़की अपना कैरियर बनाना चाहती, पढ़ती है तो हर बच्चा चाहता है कैरियर बने। अब कैरियर के लिए माँ बापों को उनके लिए छूट भी देनी पड़ती है, लेकिन अगर छूट के बाद अगर हमारी बच्चे इस तरह से परेशान होती, इस तरह से उनके साथ घटनाएं होती हैं, क्योंकि इतनी दूर 12 किलोमीटर क्या उन्हें एक भी पुलिस वैन नहीं मिली? क्या उन्हें एक भी पुलिस वाला नहीं मिला जो ये देख लेता? क्योंकि अगर एक बिना हेलमेट के भी निकलता है तो पुलिस वाले पकड़ लेते हैं। वो घिसटता हुआ जा रहा है, बार बार चक्कर काट रही है, एक ही रोड पे बार बार गाड़ी घूम रही है, तो कहीं तो पुलिस को होना चाहिए था ना उनके लिए से।
मैम, ये मर्डर है, ये जो ये हादसा नहीं है, ये मर्डर किया गया है।
आपको लगता है कि पुलिस को तैनात होना चाहिए था?
जी बिल्कुल जी, होना चाहिए था। ये सबसे बड़ी दिल्ली की पुलिस की लापरवाही है, जिसके कारण आज लड़की के साथ इतनी बड़ी वारदात हुई है।
अगर पुलिस नहीं है, सुरक्षित नहीं है अब दिल्ली में कोई भी। हम अपने बच्चों को भेजते हैं तो हमें भी डर लगता है कि हमारे बच्चे कॉलेज जा रहे हैं, पता नहीं वो वापस किस स्थिति में आएंगे, क्या होगा, कुछ नहीं पता।
अभी तक तो मैम घरेलू हिंसा वगैरह चीजों से थे। अब अगर बच्चा बाहर निकलेगा, पढ़ेगा, कैरियर जॉब करेगा तो रात बिरात आना ही होता है, क्योंकि कहा जाता है लड़का लड़की बराबर है। अगर बराबर है तो उन्हें हर तरह से बराबरी का हक मिले ना।
इस वक्त हमें इंसाफ चाहिए और हम दिल्ली पुलिस और बीजेपी के हर बंदे से ये अपील करते हैं कि आप कृपया करके उन्हें गिरफ्तार करिए और उस लड़की को इंसाफ दिलाइए।
उन्हें सख्त से सख्त सजा मिलनी चाहिए, सख्त से सख्त सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
उन्हें देखिए, जिस हिसाब से ये दर्दनाक हादसा हुआ है, ये देश को झंझोड़ने वाली बात है। हम सब जानते हैं कि कितना बड़ा घटना हुआ और डीसीपी के बेतुके बयान से उसने देश के कानून व्यवस्था पे और जो है सवाल उठाना ये किया है। लेकिन हम सब ये इसीलिए आए हैं कि क्या हमारी बेटी को इंसाफ मिले, हमारी बेटी को हम सब जितने भी पूरे
उस बच्ची की जान कितनी तड़प तड़प के निकलेगी कि पता है वो चीख
है ना कि उस लड़की, हमें आवाज ही नहीं आई, डीजे की आवाज बहुत तेज थी। ये बहुत ही शर्मसार बात है। अगर एक गाड़ी के नीचे कंकर भी फंस जाता है तो उसकी आवाज आती है, और इतनी बड़ी औरत का नीचे, लड़की का नीचे होना, उनको आवाज ही नहीं आई। ये बात शर्मसार है।
5 लोग थे, वो 5 लोगों को पता ही नहीं चला कि गाड़ी के नीचे कोई है।
को पता नहीं चला, 2 को पता नहीं चला, बट 5 को ही पता नहीं चला। और जबकि उनकी फ्रेंड निधि का कहना ये है कि उनको लड़कों को उन्होंने गाड़ी रोककर देखा और फिर भी वो उसको घसीटते ही चले गए।
So the voices that we are getting you, Akshita, women especially very aggrieved and angry, and also making a very important point. Nowadays, women do step out. They are working, they are studying, so it's not possible for women to grow in this kind of environment. We'll once again cut to the visuals that we are getting you from Jantar Mantar in the national capital. It feels like deja vu, Akshita. Almost 10 years ago, people were on the streets of the national capital. There were a lot of protests with regards to Nirbhaya, and now again, we are seeing people out here, the candles being lit. This time, The case is different. However, the bottom line is the same, that the national capital, the country's capital, is not safe for the women. The women who have come here are now demanding justice, and they also believe that this is a case of shoddy work done by the Delhi police.
You know, so many relatable voices there from the women around you, Aishwarya, who are expressing concern right now for their safety, their daughter's safety, saying clearly in Delhi, on the streets of Delhi, from 10 years ago, since the Nirbhaya case to now, absolutely nothing has changed. Aishwarya, I'm going to keep coming across to you for that live report of the candlelight vigil that's currently underway at Jantar Mantar in Delhi. Let me also take you through the latest on the probe front. The autopsy report of Anjali is out, and the details are gruesome, heartbreaking to say the least. So we do caution our viewers, we do advise viewer discretion. The information that we have from this report is extremely graphic about the kind of injuries that Anjali had suffered when she was dragged for 12 kilometers, eventually leading to her death. Imagine this, she was stuck between the front and rear wheels of the left side of the Baleno car. The maximum blood stains were found on these two tires. They've also confirmed, the Delhi police has confirmed, that no blood stains, hair samples were found inside the car.
Days after 20-year-old Anjali was dragged to death on the streets of Delhi by a car, more horrific details have emerged. The autopsy report reveals that Anjali's ribs were exposed from her back as skin peeled away from being dragged for nearly 12 kilometers. Her lungs had popped out from her body. The report further stated that Anjali had sustained several external injuries and her brain matter was missing.
पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से अंजलि का जो ब्रेन है वो अभी भी मिसिंग है। जो उसका भेजा था, जिसको हम ब्रेन कहते हैं, वो 5 से 6 किलोमीटर की बर्बरता के बाद कहीं कंजावाला रोड पे गिर गया और ब्रेन जो है वो मिसिंग है।
The post-mortem lists shock and hemorrhage as the cause of her death. The report rules out sexual assault and presence of any alcohol in her body. Initial examination of the suspect's car suggests that Anjali was stuck to the front left wheel of the vehicle. According to the forensic report, most blood stains were found behind the front left wheel. Blood was found on other parts under the car as well.
उनका सिर अंदर गया और इधर आगे यहाँ तक सिर आ गया और इस आर्म इसके अंदर उनका पाँव फंस गया, पैर ऐसे ऊपर चला गया, ये एक्सल चल रहा है ये वाला और ये एक्सल के ऊपर लिपट गया और ये गाड़ी चलती रही.
To understand what transpired that fateful night, forensic team recreated the crime scene with Delhi top cop sliding under the car.
Right now here you see the Delhi police, obviously after receiving so much flack, they can be seen ensuring that all the loose ends of the investigation is made into a watertight inspection, because all the more, remember, the family members, even after the post-mortem report is out, is refusing to accept the theory of the police.
Meanwhile, India Today has accessed CCTV footage of Anjali's friend Nidhi reaching home after fleeing from the site of the accident.
करेक्ट 2:30 बज रहे थे, हम बाहर ही बैठे थे ना, हमारे चला के फोन हाथ में था, हमने टाइम देखा जब वो आई थी. हाथ चोट उसके यहाँ पर लगी थी और हाथ पर जो फ्रैक्चर से जाता है ना, मुड़ पड़ा जाता है, वैसे हो गया था और पैर पर. बस उन्हें आसपास मोहल्ले पड़ोस में बोला था बस इतना ही कि मेरा एक्सीडेंट हो गया स्कूटी से, और कुछ नहीं बोला.
Anjali's family members have now alleged that she was murdered. They have demanded the strictest punishment for all the 5 accused who are now in police custody. Bureau Report, India Today.
Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi, has met with Anjali's family as well. There have been a lot of questions about what's changed in the national capital since the Nirbhaya case. And Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi, who's condemned, expressed her condolences to Anjali's family, has also now met with them. We'll be playing out for you those images. There you have it. Nirbhaya's mother, Asha Devi, with Anjali's family. There have been a lot of demands right now for justice. Many comparing what's happened to Anjali with what happened to Nirbhaya 10 years ago. Let's cut across live for the moment to Shalini Singh. She's the Special Commissioner who's in charge of submitting a report to the MHA.
चलिए अश्वनी आ गई
All right, we'll just play out that sequence for you yet again. A very brief statement that's come in from Shalini Singh right now, in which, in fact, she said that all facts of the case are being looked into. The lapses on the part of the police is being checked. The report will be submitted to the MHA in this regard. We're going to be getting you that exact comment that's come in from Shalini Singh. She is, remember, the Special Commissioner who's in charge of submitting a report to the MHA, and this is based on an internal inquiry on whether there were any lapses by the Delhi police in this particular case. And as we, in fact, await that particular statement, brief one that's coming from Shalini Singh, she has been, of course, busy conducting an inquiry to look into whether the Delhi police's response to this case, in this case, was adequate, or were there loopholes, were there lapses that need to be addressed immediately. Remember that the MHA has assigned her the task of submitting that report very, very soon, and she's confirmed that while they're working on that report, they will hand it over as soon as they can. And let's get you, in fact, that big breaking update of exactly what Shalini Singh has, in fact, said to the media. She's spoken to, in fact, reporters and said very clearly that she will be submitting the report to the MHA very soon. Any lapses on the part of the Delhi police will be identified. Let's cut across.
मैम पुलिस वालों की भी लापरवाही की बात जो सामने आ रही है उसको लेकर
सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को एग्जामिन किया जा रहा है। इंक्वायरी जब खत्म होगी तो रिपोर्ट सबमिट
मैम कब तक रिपोर्ट आप दे देंगे एमएचए को अपनी?
अभी तो सारी चीजें एनालाइज कर लें। आपके जितने भी सवाल हैं, मीडिया भी जो उठा रही है, उन सबको अच्छी तरह से इंक्वायर किया जाएगा, उसके बाद रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेंगे।
थैंक यू मैम। मैम ठीक है, थैंक यू, हो गया।
So that's the comment that's come in from Shalini Singh, where she said that the report will be ready very, very soon. Let's play that out for you again.
तो अभी जब तक सारी चीजें एनालाइज ना कर ले तब तक मैं कुछ भी नहीं कहूँगी।
पुलिस वालों की भी लापरवाही की बात जो सामने आ रही है उसको लेकर
सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को एग्जामिन किया जा रहा है। इंक्वायरी जब खत्म होगी तो रिपोर्ट सबमिट करी जाएगी।
कब तक रिपोर्ट आप दे देंगे एमएचए को अपनी?
अभी तो सारी चीजें एनालाइज कर लें। आपके जितने भी सवाल हैं, मीडिया भी जो उठा रही है, उन सबको अच्छी तरह से इंक्वायर किया जाएगा, उसके बाद रिपोर्ट सबमिट करी जाएगी।
थैंक यू मैम।
So Shalini Singh there speaking to the media, saying very clearly that every single aspect of this investigation, of this case, is being looked into, particularly on whether the Delhi police's response was found to be poor, whether their response was adequate or not. That's something that's also being considered right now. So all police lapses are being checked. Special Commissioner Shalini Singh has confirmed she's going to be submitting the report to the MHA very soon. Remember that the Ministry of Home Affairs under Home Minister Amit Shah had in fact directed Shalini Singh to submit a report to them at the earliest on how the Delhi police really responded, because there have been questions about why they didn't respond to PCR calls, about why eyewitnesses' attempts to reach them all failed. And we've been telling you here on India Today that Shalini Singh, leading that investigation, has been looking into that aspect of how many calls were made, how the Delhi police responded, and several other details as well. So we'll continue getting you the latest on the investigation and kind of giving you a sense of where this case is headed. On the other side of a short break, we're talking about a larger question that's emerged with regards to what's happened in the national capital. How safe are our Indian roads for women? How safe are Indian cities? We'll tell you all about that in our reality check, our pan-India reality check, coming up in just a bit.
In a big win for the Narendra Modi government, the Supreme Court on Monday affirmed the 2016 demonetization decision-making process was in accordance with law. The top court, in a 4:1 majority judgment, said the centre had the power to demonetize any series of banknotes.
The MP notification dated 8 November 2016 does not suffer from any flaws in the decision-making process. 4. The MP notification dated 8 November 2016 satisfies the test of proportionality and as such cannot be struck down on the said ground. 5. The period provided for exchange of notes while the MP notification dated 8 November 2016 cannot be said to be unreasonable.
The Supreme Court said it's not relevant whether the objective behind the decision was achieved or not. The court said adequate consultation took place between the centre and the Reserve Bank of India before the note ban decision. Justice B.V. Nagaratna differed from the majority view and gave a dissenting judgment. She argued that demonetization process was not in accordance with the legal process.
Therefore, in my considered view, the powers of the central government being vast, the same have to be exercised only through a plenary legislation or a legislative process rather than by an executive act by the issuance of a notification in the Gazette of India. It is necessary that the Parliament, which consists of the representatives of the people of this country, discusses the matter and thereafter approves and supports the implementation of the scheme of demonetization.
The Supreme Court verdict held that the 52-day window given by the government for the exchange of demonetized notes as reasonable. While the BJP hailed the Supreme Court decision, the Congress argued the SC verdict only discussed the validity of demonetization and not the merits of the decision. The Modi government in 2016 demonetized currency notes of 500 and 1,000 rupee denominations, which constituted around 86% of the cash in the banking system. While the decision led to long queues at ATMs and considerable hardship, the public at large backed the move, which was labelled as fight against black money by the BJP. The BJP had gone on to win elections in Uttar Pradesh, held a few months after note ban, with a landslide majority.
The Supreme Court has categorically held that it is not relevant as to whether or not the objective is achieved. But what is important is that there is a reasonable nexus between the objective and anything that is sought to be achieved. Even the dissenting judge, Justice B.V. Nagaratna, has said that there is no doubt about the fact that demonetization as an idea was well-intentioned. What remains to be seen, however, is whether this judgment will finally bring to an end the political squabble over the 2016 controversial decision. With Shrishti Ocha in New Delhi, this is Nalini Sharma for India Today.
We have EVs and luxury SUVs on the show so often, but what if I told you, if you watch Ford versus Ferrari, you'd know how important it is for an automotive brand to understand what kind of tech and what sort of engineering works on the racetrack. In fact, a lot of the technologies and the practices that are used on the racetrack can be used to enhance and improve road cars. How does all of it happen? Why are we here at this iconic event in London? Well, here's a sneak peek. On Tech today, we have a very special guest from the world of Formula E. We're talking all about how EV tech from the racetrack will make it to road cars with James Barclay from Jaguar ECS. Nice to meet you.
Great to be here.
James, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on Tech today. With a lovely skyline to establish that we're not doing this in the metaverse, but we're doing it on the show, I want to start off by asking you, when we talk about how Formula E is a sort of a test bed for what's going to eventually come to the Jaguar EV road car, how much of it do we see translating from the racetrack to the road car?
Yeah, that's one of the fundamental reasons why we're involved in Formula E. It's a real-world testbed for electric vehicle technology. We're in a world championship sport where in order to gain advantage and be ahead of your competition, you have to innovate in the best way possible. And I always liken it, you in your professional level, you always push yourself further than you ever would normally go when that level of competition exists around you. So that competition is good, it improves the breed, so to speak. And it's everything. It's on the powertrain technology, the electric motor, the inverter, the software. Aerodynamics in Formula One is incredibly important. In Formula E, it's about the software, how we tune and control the powertrain to deliver that the most efficient way and the best way in terms of performance. And it's everything from material science in terms of how we develop our powertrain systems all the way through to the application of the software. So it's actually a hugely exciting area. The technology is evolving incredibly quickly. And what's really relevant is that the things we're doing in Formula E will make our future road cars even better.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You're watching India Today. Now, in the back of what's happened in the national capital, a hit and drag case of young Anjali, we ventured out in the national capital and yesterday got you a detailed report of what the situation is in Delhi. We've now expanded that further. Several of you asked us to show you what's the situation in your city. And so we've decided to show you the situation in 11 cities across the country. 18 of our reporters spent last night out on the streets to find out if it's safe, is there adequate police patrolling or not. One of the most disturbing reports perhaps came in from the city of Hyderabad. Abdul Bashir and Apurva were out on the streets. They found how many, in fact, people approached them. There was some police presence on the streets, but that wasn't enough. Apurva in particular was targeted several times because she was alone and she was a woman standing on the streets.
दिलसुख नगर तक जाना है। तो भाई और कुछ ड्रॉप करा? नहीं मैं ऑफिस से आ रही हूँ, अभी लेट हो गया था। नहीं कोई बात नहीं सर, अभी आएगा 2 मिनट में। नहीं कोई बात नहीं, ये इधर ही है ना तो आ जाएगा पास में। क्या भैया?
आपको जाने का है, ये जल्दी चले जाओ, ओला उबर बुक करके चले जाओ। सब जने
मुझे घर जाना है,
जल्दी चले जाओ। खाली सब जने गलत जगह से देख रहे, खाली सब जने गलत जगह से देख रहे खाली।
अच्छा मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, दिल्ली मतलब क्या बोल रहे हो आप? नहीं मेरा ओला तो बुक हो गया है, अभी आएगा। अभी कैब बुक करने में और दिल्ली जाने में क्या है? आप ऐसे आप सर हिला के आप क्या बात करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं? नहीं सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है।
3000 2000 5000 जाओ ना।
3000 2000 5000 क्यों? आप जाओ, मुझे कैब आ रहा है, मैं जा रही हूँ।
आप ऐसा नहीं दिख रहे ना, मेरे तो पूछ लो।
कैसे नहीं दिख रही? लड़की नहीं दिख रही? ये देख क्या हुआ मतलब? आप जाओ भैया, आप तीसरी बार इधर आ रहे हो, क्या हुआ? देर हो गया। हाँ मनस्थलीपुरम
छोड़ देगा।
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, आपको किधर जाना है? उससे और आगे है मेरा, कोई बात नहीं, ये कैब आ जाएगी। नहीं कोई बात नहीं सर, कैब है।
कैब को कितने दूर में कैब वाला है?
नहीं कोई बात नहीं, अभी ऑलरेडी बुक किया है, वो अभी आने ही वाला है। हाँ
अलग काम है।
अलग काम मतलब समझ में नहीं आ रहा है।
जाना है वाला है?
नहीं मैं घर जा रही हूँ। क्या हुआ भैया? Cost for what? What are you asking?
Where are you waiting?
I'm waiting for my cab to come so I can get home.
This area is not good, so that's why I'm asking.
Thanks. I think this is the second time you're coming here. I'm just waiting for an Ola Uber to come. Thanks.
You've been here for an hour. We've seen that so many people, they were...
Well, Bashir, the experience I had was kind of traumatizing. In fact, yes, there was one patrolling vehicle that went by, but no police official had come here and had in fact asked why I was standing here in the middle of the road. Do I need any kind of help? Several people here, public, who had tried to, I had cat calls and lewd comments that were passed on me just because I was a single person who was standing here alone on the road, a woman who was just trying to, get her way back home safely.
When we talk about the law and order, when we talk about the bandobast, when we talk about the security measures, we have seen in the other corners of the city where the checkposts were held. We have also met women police officers who were on guard, who were trying to check vehicles, who were checking drink and drive. Drives also were going on.
It's all of these places that have been in the center of the city, the heart of the city. Where we are at is almost to the outer part of the city as well, like you rightly mentioned. And given this is the situation here, this is the kind of, in fact, just a couple of, 100 meters from here, we have a police station as well. But there hadn't been any police officials who had approached me asking if I needed help.
See, while we do this reality check, we leave it to our viewers, we leave it to the people who are watching as to how the people who are in the society have to render themselves, and also the police who provides the security have to be here on the spot, on especially these spots where we have seen twice a patrol moving here. They have left from this place, but they have not even tried to approach and ask why is a single woman, a woman standing here and so many people surrounded by.
Now, we hope that serves as a wake-up call to the authorities in Hyderabad. It's not just a question of Delhi. Many other cities where it's a similar situation for women out there. We're going to continue getting you all of these detailed ground reports, these reality checks. That's it from me. Thanks very much for tuning in. Coming up on the other side is 7 at 7, the day's top 7 stories. We're telling you a horrifying story that's come in from an Air India flight where a drunk flyer urinated on a female passenger.
Banbhulpura in Haldwani is home to over 4,000 people living in unauthorized colonies. The Nainital High Court has ordered demolition of the illegal colonies on railway land. The administration plans to implement the order.
माननीय उच्च न्यायालय के द्वारा एक आदेश दिया गया है और उस आदेश का अनुपालन कितने प्रभावी तरीके से और अच्छी प्रकार से हो उसके लिए रेलवे के साथ एक समन्वय बैठक हुई और उसमें निरीक्षण भी किया गया है पॉइंट्स का और पूरे स्थल को देखा भी गया है.
Angry residents of the area are out on the streets protesting against the clearance of encroachments. Many of them say that their families have been living in the area for generations now.
हमारे घर तोड़े जा रहे हैं और हमारा स्कूल भी तोड़ा जा रहा है. हम कहाँ जाएंगे? हम छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं. हमारा घर टूट जाएगा तो हम कहाँ रहेंगे?
The residents allege they are being subjected to mental harassment by the police and administration.
ये जो उखाड़ने के लिए बस्ती बार बार हमारे ऊपर इन लोग गरीब आदमी के ऊपर तलवार टांग देते हैं. वो हर 6 महीने में तलवार टांगते हैं. ये बहुत गलत बात है. केंद्र की भी, प्रशासन की भी, सबकी बहुत बुरा हाल है यहाँ के लोगों का. ये अपने बच्चों को लेके कहाँ जाएंगे, कैसे बसेंगे, कैसे क्या करेंगे?
The protesters are demanding the government provide them